In this grade 12 economics video, we are going to be looking at the September Preparatory Paper 1 exam scope. We are going to be looking at what are the topics that are going to be under your Paper 1 and what are the things that you need to study under each and every single one of those topics for you to say that you are absolutely ready for the upcoming preliminary examinations that you are currently writing. The first topic on your scope is the Cold War, with the emphasis on the extension of the Cold War in Europe. This is a source-based question. So in your question paper, as you know, you're going to have 3 questions that are source-based and 3 questions that are essay questions. You are required to choose either 2 source-based questions and 1 essay, or 2 essays and 1 source-based question. As far as the source-based questions are concerned, the Cold War with the extension of the Cold War in Europe is going to be the first topic of your source-based questions, and under it what you need to make sure that you study and prioritize is the end of the Second World War and the introduction of the Cold War. So basically this is how the Cold War started. Then you move on to the spheres of interest in the USA and the USSR, the Truman Doctrine, the Marshall Plan, the Berlin crisis, and then you will end off your studying with the military alliances, that is the NATO, as well as the Warsaw Pact. The second topic on your scope is going to be the independent Africa, but this time we're looking at Angola, so meaning that we are paying emphasis to Angola. Remember, with the independent Africa, you have different case studies within. So for the source-based questions, the independent Africa is going to be based on the Angola case study. So this is going to be your source-based question, and under this topic, the things that you need to make sure that you prioritize and study for you to be prepared for this topic is the colonialism as well as the independence of Angola, and then you have to get to the outbreak of the civil war, and then move to the involvement of other countries such as the USA, the USSR, China, South Africa, and many more that included in there. I think that also includes Cuba, the impact on the regional stability. Then look at the Battle of the Koito Valley, and then end with the changing nature of international relationships. Civil society protests is going to be your last source-based question. Remember, you can either choose to answer 2 of the source-based question or only answer 1 if you're going to answer 2 essays. So you will decide between these 3. They're going to make your question 1 up to question 3. So your question 3 will more than likely be this civil society protest. Under it, what you need to make sure that you are comfortable with and have studied is the US civil rights movement, the reasons and the origins for the civil rights movement, and then you have to look at the role of Martin Luther King Jr., his role, his impact, as well as his influence in the civil rights movement. Then look at different types of protests that we have, most commonly the Montgomery bus boycott, the Lincoln Memorial March, the Birmingham campaign, and then also look at the case study of Little Rock, and then end everything with the short-term and long-term gains of the civil rights movement. From there, we get into the essay questions. In the essay questions, the first one that you will have to look at is the case study of Vietnam. So this is the Cold War with the case study of Vietnam. It's a Cold War essay, and what you need to look into studying for you to be able to write this essay is for you to study the South Vietnamese Army versus the Viet Cong, that is the communist, the rebels, or the communist trained rebels. So look at that war that they have with the South Vietnamese army, and then also look at the Vietnamese war against the USA, the Vietnam as well as the USA perspectives. So during that war, they both have their perspectives, so you should be able to write an essay from either perspective, and then look at the USA withdrawal from Vietnam, and then end everything else with the impact on USA politics and student movement. All of these items can make individual essays on their own, so make sure that you're prepared for either one. The second essay type question is independent Africa again, but this time the case study is Congo. So what you need to be comfortable with for you to write this as your essay is going to be the ideas that influenced Congo. So you need to be able to write an essay on the ideas that influenced Congo, or be able to also write on the political stability and instability that occurred in Congo during these times. Also be able to write on the type of leadership or the type of leader, as well as the type of government that they had during this time. And then also make sure that you're comfortable with the legacies of colonialism in Congo, meaning that what were the legacies that were left as a result of colonization of Congo. Look at the type of economy that they had, and then also look into different challenges that they would have faced during that times. But also there are some successes that came from their independence, so also look at those and be able to write an essay on them. Your last essay is going to be on the Black Power movement. With the Black Power movement, what you need to be able to do is be able to write on the reasons for the movement, meaning what was the reasons for the Black Power movement, and then also write on the formation of the Black Panther Party. Be able to write on how the Black Panther Party came to be and how it was formed. And then there were different activists as well that you need to be able to write on their roles. So the role of Malcolm X, of Stokely Carmichael, Huey Newton, and all the other African American activists that were in protest during those times, or that led movements during those times. Make sure that you are writing on them, especially if they never appeared in your previous test. It would be wise to make sure that you study up on them, and then end your studying on the short-term and long-term gains of the Black Power movement. So there were some short-term gains as well as the long-term gains. Make sure that you're comfortable in writing them as an essay. If you have YouTube recommend you more of my videos, be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below.